Okay, we are live. So let's rip this guy a new one. That's what they say in these movies, I guess. American action movies. Yeah, Marius Høiby. He's not a good person, they say. And we are going to talk about it in this live stream. And my motivation, my main motivation here is that the royal family have asked for peace, quiet, and silence around the whole mess. In other words, they don't want us to talk about it, do they? Hang on a little bit. I have to plug in a cable in something here so that I don't get cut off. Hold on. Okay, I am noticing that this camera is maybe not the best. That's just how it is. I hope you can forgive me. I will move my other camera over here for the next live stream, I guess. Okay. Norwegian Psycho. I thought that was funny, as a title, because, there's this famous book and movie, American Psycho. And it's funny, but it's tragic. The whole thing is tragic. I'll just give this the chat a little bit of time so that people can join. We are going to talk about disgrace that is the Norwegian royal family. The disgusting display of lack of morals, intelligence, and good human qualities. The lack of all those things. That's what the royal family means to me. And if there are Americans watching, your forefathers did a good thing when they got rid of the monarchy. We shouldn't have a monarchy. It's no. But anyway, so I will now get to the point. So this is a criminal case. The person in question has not been found guilty in the accusations. It is the state it's not the victims, but the state that will the state will do. It's not the victims. It in Norwegian it works like this. Okay, if someone is beaten up, it is the state that will be the one part in court, right? And the guy who did it will then be the other part. Okay, so it's not the victims, but that's beside the point here, I guess. We a little bit of background. We have in Norway a monarchy, and they were imported when Norway became, a independent country after centuries being a colony. So that was in 1905, not so long ago. Norway became, an independent state. And a part of that process was the fact that you had some wealthy landowners who really, really wanted to have some kind of, class of nobles in Norway. And they, of course, wanted to be part of that. So they imported a family from Europe, a royal family. So the Norwegian king was Danish, the first one there. not the first Norwegian king, but the after, in modern times, so to speak. And that family has been subsidized by millions upon millions, hundreds of millions every year now. And as often happens, these royal families, they start surrounding themselves with a specific group of people who will supply them with, uh, hoax, like shamanistic rituals, drugs, and all sorts of weird stuff, And that's what we are seeing. There's nothing new about any of this. And they're also given a free pass. They can pretty much do what they want. Or so they thought. I'm getting to the point here. I'm the same age, I believe, as the son of the Norwegian king. The Norwegian king is very old, and for natural reasons, in a few years he will die. I have nothing against the Norwegian king. I don't know him. He could be a good person. He could be a bad person. I don't know. But we do know quite a bit about his son and all the other people there's. So his son, I grew up with the rumors of his son, and they were not nice rumors. He would sit in one of the nightclubs or restaurants with his friends, and they would, here in Oslo, and they would, point at girls, and they could come over and sit with them because he's the prince and so on. Real bastard, that's what I thought back then. And the wife that he got, this wife, right, who has a past with lots of drug abuse, crazy partying, and a very irresponsible way of living, of course. And so, it seems like that's the kind of people they surround themselves with, because all their spouses, as far as I know, there's been 3 of them. The sister has, that's her second spouse now. Also, that's the black guy from California, the shaman. What a joke. He's also been in the drug thing and doing the drug thing, and yeah. But anyway, so the princess, by marriage to the prince, so she's called Mette-Marit, with a hyphen in between those 2 names. She had a son before she married the prince, and his name is Marius, and he's not been a good boy. These people talk, so I heard rumors about how he was quite an abusive character, especially towards girls. And now there's this big case here in Norway. He had been beating up his past girlfriend, trashed her apartment, and put a knife in the wall, and he was on cocaine. I don't like saying these names, but that is the, here on my channel. But that is the drug of choice for these people, I guess. And then he tried to escape, and she had to go to hospital, because she was beaten up. And then the police got him finally, because eventually they have to, Now, don't get me wrong here. This violent guy will not be the next king. He is the son from another relationship of okay. We have a king, and the king has a son. The son married a girl, a woman called Mette-Marit. Mette-Marit had a son from a past relationship. That's the guy we're talking about. Okay. And he's not been a good boy, Now there are, I think, 3 of his past girlfriends who are accusing him of violence and so on. And it is interesting to see what kind of young women he has been into, because one of these are, at least 2 of them, influencers, Instagram models and crap like that, And one of these girls, she posted, or it was a photo of her and her friend, another influencer. They're all okay. I'll try to restrain myself a little bit. They posted a photo on Instagram, and this past girlfriend of this violent guy, she had a little plastic bag with some white powder in her hand, and they removed that photo, of course, but by then it was too late. People had noticed that. What was in that bag? Was it sugar? I don't think so. So, so this is the kind of people that we are dealing with here. This violent young man, he has connections to, and I'm not kidding even. I wish this was a joke. He has connections by friendship with Albanian mafia. These drug sellers, criminals, Hells Angels. I wish I was joking, but no. And now the story that they are trying to spin here is that he's a victim. Life has been so hard for him, so we need to feel sorry for him. He is a victim of addiction. Okay. Yeah, it's almost like this, what's it, Biden's son, what's his name? People who grow up, they have everything. These are the most fucking privileged people who have ever existed on the planet, probably. And yet they are victims. They are victims. These are people who haven't worked a day in their lives. Oh, but they are victims. Life is so difficult for these people. Oh, we need to feel sorry for them. So, okay, I'll just say this, and some of you may disagree, but here is my stance, my view on the whole drug addiction thing. I can see only one angle where the drug addict is actually a victim. That's when these people who, especially in the USA, they get painkillers from the doctor, and they get addicted to that, and then they take the receipt away or something, and they are addicted to typically, some, I don't know the names of all these things, but morphine, not morphine, but it doesn't matter. But you know what I'm trying to say here. I think if that's the case, then yes, we are talking about someone who didn't. Well, you could say that's a victim. But in all other cases, I will say this: nobody forced this little shit Marius to take drugs. Nobody forced him. I'm pretty sure of that. He did it because he thought it would be cool. He did it because the other people did it, and he did it because that's what they do in in those groups of spoilt brats. And I have no sympathy for them. I have no, I will put it this way. There's a good term, this will be demonetized anyway. Well, YouTube will put ads on it, but I won't get the money from the ads. There's this term, I wouldn't piss on them if they were on fire. It's a bit rude, but it just perfectly describes how I feel about these people. I wouldn't care if they died. I know I'm evil and horrible now, maybe. So, this is my stance on this. And it's not a fashionable viewpoint. I know that, because we are supposed to be liberal. We're supposed to view these people who get hooked on this as other victims. No, I will never do that. They can all fuck off, and I don't like them. So when it comes to this guy who has a habit of beating up girls, okay, when you beat up girls, I mean, someone who is violent towards a woman is a bastard. He's not a good person. I'm very simple when it comes to these things. If you do that, you're not worth the dirt under the soles of your shoes, I have no sympathy. I will never have any sympathy for people like that. It's just not something that you do. Well, I guess if there was like a hostage situation, your kids were at gunpoint and the terrorist was a woman, we can always think up or imagine these crazy cases, but that's obviously not what we're talking about here. Why are we going to leave this person in peace, as they're now telling us from the royal family in Norway? Why am I going to do that? Why the hell would I leave these people in peace? They don't deserve that. I mean, if there was anyone else who had a famous face, a name, they wouldn't be left in peace. So why? I don't see any reason. Actually, I see a good reason to talk about this. And this could be the beginning of the end of the monarchy in Norway. Because the monarchy in Norway is a disgrace. It's a disgrace, and they take so much money from taxpayers' money, and the idea here is that, but they do so much for tourism. They do so much for, they represent Norway in such a good way. Really? I would like to see some numbers on that. Give me those numbers. But there are no such numbers, and if there were, they would probably show up in the negative. I could go on and on about this. There's this other part of the family tree as well. I'll just briefly mention it. So the king, the king and the queen, they have also a daughter. The daughter is not allowed to use the title of princess, even though she is. But that's because she has been continuously using her title to make money. Well, you could say that's what the others do as well, but she's been commercializing it. She's a charlatan, and she will, she claims to have been an Egyptian princess 5,000 years ago and all sorts of nonsense. She's very alternative. She's so much better than us, right? Because she has seen these things, and she has an open mind to the universe. And we are so limited in our thinking, so we just can't understand the world. And we need to look up to these people because they're better than us, really. Not just being ironic there. Yeah, so she's on her second husband now. The other one killed himself. And I don't. You need to believe me here, okay? I'm not making these things up, okay? So she just a few days ago she married this guy. He's a black man from California. He calls himself Durek, which is funny because there's a brand of condoms called Durex. Oh. So he's a black man from California. Nothing wrong about that. So far, so good. But the thing is that he claims to be not human. He is a hybrid from part alien from the Andromeda galaxy and part reptile. He's also a kind of space moth. He can heal people, and you can buy his medallion online for a lot of money. And he has said things like, if children have cancer, it's because there's something bad inside. Well, there's something. Well, you know what? I can't really quote that because I can't remember the wording. He's been caught beating up his past boyfriend. And they recently sold their entire wedding to Hello Magazine and Netflix, of course. So they were there, they closed off an entire village in the west of Norway. They closed the airspace, and and they used kind of the journalists from the free press. Did I say free press? That's funny. But yeah, so they were there as well, but they were not allowed to film, so they made a big. Netflix filmed the journalists, and they made a bit of drama there, right? So it's going to be like a TV series, which I'm not going to watch. And yeah, so I could, okay, but this is not about that part of the family tree. And this Durek guy, I'll just mention this. He died, and he traveled through the ether of the universe because of a drug overdose. So, so yeah, okay. Yeah. But back to this guy, Marius Høiby. The funny thing is that me doing this live stream on YouTube is going to probably get me in some sort of trouble. But luckily, I'm now past the point where I don't care anymore. And this idea that we're supposed to respect the royal family, we shouldn't talk about this, and so on, it's ridiculous, Why would I do as these people say? I don't respect the royal family. I don't respect these people at all. Why the hell will I do that? They are bad people. They are bad people. Now, as I said, I don't know the king. I don't know his wife. They could be good people. They could be bad people. I don't know. Kaina says you should respect him as a human. No, I'm not going to do that. If you're a wife beater or a girl beater, I will not respect you. If you take cocaine and then after a while you get addicted and you claim to be a victim and you want attention for being a victim to that, I won't respect you. I will disrespect you. Respect needs to be earned. So you might disagree. I don't care. I don't care. No, don't. No, Masons. No, go. Don't go. Don't go there. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. Okay, let's stick to the facts. And the facts are more than enough. We don't have to make up things. We don't have to make assumptions. You know, I grew up with stories about this. These kids, because they were kids then, kids that, the son and daughter of the king and queen, how they were always partying, the sister, she would be driven around because she had a private driver, of course, and she would regularly throw up in the back seat of that limousine. And we've all heard these stories, and this, there's this ridiculous idea that they are sort of better than other people just because they married into or were born into a royal family. What the fuck is that? I mean, it's a people who think that. I don't know if they think that because they're just plain stupid or because it's some kind of dogmatic thinking. I don't know. Maybe a combination. But the idea that just because your parents had a certain position in society, then you will have that same position in society. I disagree with that. Now, it's different, of course, if your parents are rich and you inherit money. Not saying we should take that money away from people, because it's a key principle, I believe, that you build up a fortune, you build up wealth if you can, and you do that mainly so that your kids can have it. So don't get me wrong here, but this idea that yes, they were born into this family, so now, or they married into this family, so now they are going to get access to hundreds of millions every year. That's taxpayers' money. I disagree with that idea, And then people are shocked when these stories surface, right? And I know for a fact that this Marius Høiby, he's been acting like this for years. It's just because this one girl, she called, she was so beaten up that she had to go to hospital. And you know what the mother, who's the princess married to the prince, what she did? She did something that you should never do. She called her. She called her son's victim. What do you think she talked about? What do you think she said? I have some ideas about that, because I don't think that these are good people. I think that maybe she called her to make her, well, I'll let you draw the conclusions there, okay? So, yeah, you know, I hope that you appreciate honesty. I don't care anymore the consequences of these. These live streams, these videos. Just as a side note, I do, as a novelist, I do go to these events now and then because I have to kind of show people that I still exist. And some of these people, not the royal family themselves, but their friends, if I can call it that, because I don't believe that these people know what friendship is at all. But yeah, to silence the girl, of course, Cecilia. But they go there, and they talk to people who are making decisions, and I honestly don't know how this works exactly, but will there be consequences for me? Yeah, of course. And they can all go and fuck themselves. I don't like them. So yeah, and I'm pretty sure that's what they're doing as well, by the way. You know, but the rest of us, we will have to continue working hard. We will have to, if you're, I would say below 40 or younger, and I'm going to talk about this on the main channel, don't expect to ever be able to retire. But these people, they will never have to work. Isn't that wonderful? And in Norway, a majority of, according to polls, which I don't believe in, according to polls, a majority of the population is in support of the monarchy. But it is strange, though, because I can't think of many people that I know who are in support of the monarchy. Some old people. But are those polls trustworthy? I would say no. Will people 50 and over get to retire ever? I'm 52. I'm not counting on it. So yeah, so that's how it is. Yeah, the real report says I like Harald, which is the king. It's better than many other monarchs. Yeah. I have nothing against the Norwegian king. But I think we need to realize that the Norwegian king has been young too. The Norwegian queen has also been young. They grew up in a different time. but we need to understand that they have been protected. And if they did something bad back in the, decades ago, we probably wouldn't have known, because I use the term free press, which is ironic. But they wouldn't, we wouldn't have known. So I don't think that, he comes across as a nice guy. I will say that. But we only see him in, we don't see so much of him, So I don't know. He could be a right bastard, There is that possibility. I don't think so. But I'm just saying that we don't know. We don't know. Yeah, Norway is still a monarchy. It's a disgrace. Yeah, well, someone here says my grandfather sailed with Harald in his youth. I never heard anything but positive things. Yeah, maybe he's a good guy, Maybe he's a good guy. But that's not the point, because the monarchy is only as good as the king or the queen. So we are, in a few years, going to get a new king, which is the son. He's being propped up already, and there was a book which was ordered by the official, I don't know, the royals or something, which is laughable because it portrays him as this flawless individual, and the flaws that he has are very excusable. It's laughable. So we're going to get a new king, and you love this, by the way. His son, who will be king, he's a World Economic Forum puppet. He really is. He's parroting the talking points of Klaus Schwab and those people. So that's what we're going to get. I don't like that. So yeah. I know I won't be reading the comments to this live stream. Because people in Norway, at least, some people, they have this strange affection for the royal family. And I really don't like that. And, it's why? I mean, why? I want to grab those people gently by the shoulders and look them in the eyes and say, why? What is it about this system with the royal family? And what is it about these people that you love so much? And the truth is that it is the fantasy of the whole thing that some people really like. It is the fantasy. It's almost like a fairy tale, right? And people cling to that fantasy, but it's not a fantasy. These are just human beings. They go to the toilet like other people, and they and some of them, now it appears, are not really nice. They're not nice, they're abusive. They are abusive, some of these people. And they take advantage of the position that they have been put in, Now, of course, the argument here, and you will see that in the comments, that people will say, oh, but you're talking about people who don't get what we call in Norwegian apanasje, which is the hundreds of millions that the king and the royal, some people in the royal family get, So this Marius Høiby, this little shithead, he doesn't get money. He doesn't get money from the state, like the king, The same with Martha, the brother of the prince, She doesn't get money from the state. But listen, if anyone believe that, listen, do you think, no, let me put it this way. How much money do you think that, let's say, the king, the father, and how much money do you think that the royal family, the members of the royal family, are actually getting money from the state? How much of that money do you think has been gifted or channeled to those people in the royal family who are not officially getting any? How much money up through the years? How many millions? I think a lot. A lot. Because I don't see these people working. Okay, this Martha character, she has a podcast and she's selling some clothes and she's trying to get people to join the courses that she's running with this other charlatan woman where you can talk to the angels and stuff like that. But, no. They are also getting money. And this Marius Høiby, I don't think he's ever worked, So, yeah, monarchy, I believe, has a history of not protecting the country. The monarch is a guy who sits behind in a castle and he has people pointing at the enemy and so on. And the peasants get to go there and fight and get killed. So, yeah. Yeah, Ari Ben, who was the former husband of Martha, he really, really liked the attention that he got. He really liked the attention. He was some kind of author. To start with, at least, he didn't produce much, but I really, really liked the attention. Yeah. There is also, of course, we could throw in Epstein here. Epstein, who didn't kill himself. So Marius Høiby, that's a girl beater. His mother, Mette-Marit, who is married to the prince. Mette-Marit was a friend of Epstein, the guy who didn't kill himself in prison. And she lived in his apartment was it New York? So listen, and that was after, I think, his first verdict. The idea that the fact that people go around and they think that these are good people, these are nice people, the royal family, it's just ludicrous. It's insane, and people want to fool themselves. If you're friend with Epstein, what does that say about you? And that was after his first verdict. And the the best part is that the spokespeople for the royal family, they are claiming that she didn't know. Oh, yeah. Okay. She didn't know. Um, and I heard some stories about what kind of friend she was and all of that. I won't get into that, but you know, it's isn't it obvious? Isn't it obvious how this all the pieces they fit together here? Isn't it obvious? And they hand out a diplomatic passport to this Marius Høiby so that he can't be how does it work? Well, he can be criminally charged, but it protects him. I don't know the legal matters there, but he was handed a diplomatic passport. Yeah. So, okay. Okay. So the real report says Marius Høiby bought a motorcycle repair shop. With which money? Money that he had, it's wake up, people. So it's like Norwegian Psycho. I think so, without being able to diagnose like a psychiatrist would. And yeah, he has been not been. He hasn't got a sentence yet, but there's, he's such an idiot that he called up this girl, and I think she recorded it because there's a recording, and he's saying that I slapped you around a little bit with my flat hand. That's what he's saying, and you can hear that he doesn't think that was so bad. So he called up this girl that he had beaten up, and and you can hear that. Well, he's saying it, and well, yeah. Also, he did write actually a letter of apology that was printed in some newspaper or something, where he practically admits the whole thing. And when I listen to the recording, it's chilling. It gives you a really, really bad feeling because you can hear that this is someone who's not right in the head, that this is someone who doesn't understand that it's wrong to beat up other people. He thinks it was fine, because he was just using the flat hand. So yeah, my hatred towards people like that, I think, is very obvious. Yeah, I do hate people who beat up women. I do. I think they're not good people. That's just me, I guess. No, it's not just me. I think all decent people, we don't like wife beaters. We don't. We don't. There's something so cowardly about it. And we, as men, we might not be perfect, but being violent towards women. It's just it's like it's that, and being cruel to animals, and pedophiles. That's the lowest of, with rapists. That's the lowest of everything, I think. Yeah. So, yeah. Oh wow. Outdoor watch. Well, thank you for saying that. You've been a member here for 36 months. That is awesome. Wonderful. Thank you. Yeah, these people who are violent towards women, I don't know. Some Take Funk says he probably got brought up the same way. I don't know. What I'm hearing is that his father was sort of taking care of him the first years because his mother was not really fit to that. The woman who later married the prince, but that one I don't really know for sure. That's a rumor. Chelsea says we should try to be reasonable with our partners before resorting to violence. I know what you mean, but I will add that, and I'm sure you agree that even if we can't be reasonable, we should never resort to violence. But I think that's what you meant there. So, yeah. Okay. Yeah, let me just throw in one thing here. You know why what's his name? The guy who makes money from tricking young men and trying to teach. He says his Andrew Tate. Andrew Tate. Why I despise him so much? Why I think he's the lowest of everything? It's because he's been recorded, beating a woman with a belt. That's enough for me. And the people who disagree with that can go and screw themselves, which I'm sure they do. Mostly men at a regular basis in their own room. Yeah, if you do that, I will never respect you. Never. I've never claimed to be a forgiving person, and I think that there are some things that should not be forgiven. Women do that, make that mistake all the time. If they live with a violent partner, and they try to justify it, and it was just this one time, and then it happens again, and it becomes a habit, and if it wasn't for the idea that forgiveness. This goes against the Christian faith, I know, but I don't care. But if it wasn't for that, they would be out the door, So, yeah. Yeah, Andrew Tate, there is a lot of things that are wrong with him, long list. There's a reason why he's been criminally charged, for trafficking and stuff, But okay, I'll stop right there. Let's see if this live stream stays up. It could be actually that since this is a Norwegian case, that it does stay up. I don't know. It hasn't been monetized yet during the live stream, or maybe I missed it. Because I get a notification when they run the stupid thing. Okay. Are there any trolls here? Um, oh, here comes the Christian thing with forgiveness. No, I'm not doing that. It's a dictator simp. Maybe we can try be a bit more normal, says not one. Yeah, I agree. I agree. Okay. I will be ending the live stream now. Thank you for tuning in.